Kenny, do you think the Knicks can cover the 4.5 points against the Spurs? Obviously, they have a lot to play for. They also have a lengthy, questionable player report here.
Yeah, I do. I think when in doubt, you want to bet on defense, and that's what you got with the Knicks. They have slipped a little bit lately. They're 7th over the last 10 games. You can just call me last 10 games, Ducey. I always just bring up the last 10 games because I think it's a good sample. The Spurs over the last 10 games are the second worst defense in the league. Now they've allowed over 120 points per 100 possessions. And you are right, Jesse, that there is a lot to play for on both sides here. But ultimately, I just think this is a Knicks team that has turned it up on offense as well lately to couple with their really good defense. And they're charged up right now. They just clinched a playoff spot. And now they have their sights set on home court advantage in the first round. I think that ultimately the size advantage is with the Knicks. I think that if they get some of these guards back, they've been fine without Quickly and Burks, but it feels like they're coming back or at least really nearing a return. So I'd look out for the injury report. But if those two guys come back, I mean, Alec Burks in the lineup for that Lakers game, it wouldn't even been close. I think the Knicks would have probably won by 10 or 15 based on how they did down the stretch there. Burks would have helped them close it out. So I think if those guys come back, especially, I love them to cover the spread.
Nick, are you going with the Knicks?
I think I am. Yeah. And like you said, the main thing here is, having Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock as well, and Emmanuel Quickly all on the injury report. If 2 of those 4 guys ultimately play, then I really like New York. If 3 or 4 are held out, then you really start to get into some depth issues, especially on the offensive end. Rose, Burks, Bullock, and even Quickly. All 4 of those guys are big time offensive contributors. I think the Knicks can still keep up the defense if someone like Frank Ntilikina has to play more minutes, as he did against the Lakers the other night, but you're losing a lot of offensive punch if, over half of those guys are sitting out. So for me, it's kind of a wait and see, but overall, the Spurs do have something to play for. They're 2 games up on the Kings, who are somehow still in this thing with a couple of games left. They need to clinch that final play-in spot, but for the Knicks, I mean, they've fallen to 6th now in the Eastern Conference by virtue of losing some tiebreakers. You do not want to be in 6th place right now because we just talked about Milwaukee being virtually locked into the 3. If you could play Atlanta or you could play Miami in round 1 instead of the Milwaukee Bucks, I think that's exactly what you want. So the overall theme of this show has just been like which teams need to care the most tonight. And I think, the Knicks are certainly near the top of that list.